What is up, everybody, and welcome to your ThoughtLoad Thursday. I am Tyler, and this week we've got a super awesome brief topic for you. And to give you a quick little background, whenever the universe throws something at me multiple times, either in the same week or maybe even the same day, I feel like it is valuable to share that because that to me means that not only should I be paying attention to it, but maybe somebody else needs to pay attention to it too. So that's what I want to share with you today. And that's going to be the 7 levels deep exercise. Now, I think Nico had mentioned this in a thought load a long time ago, briefly when he talked about finding your purpose, right? And he did a great job briefly explaining that, but I wanted to go a little bit deeper, a little bit more in depth with it, as I feel like it's extremely valuable here for everyone to take a look at as well. And so the first instance where it popped up was one of the guys. I'm going to share with you his example sheet here, and I'll provide the link to it in the show notes, is a guy named Dean Graziosa, yeah, something like that. He showed up in a Tony Robbins live seminar I was watching last week and shared this concept with everybody. So I heard it earlier in the week or late last week. And then again, it came up while I was researching a presentation that I'm doing for a class I have next Monday on student buy-in and how buy-in can achieve greater learning outcomes. So two very kind of drastic areas where this came up. And so I was like, you know what? I need to take a look at this more. I need to include this in my presentation, and I want to bring it to you guys here. So another quick little background piece to set the scene is, so the main thing of this 7 levels deep exercise is, or you may have also heard it called the 7 levels of why. And why is such a impactful question, right? And it's also funny because my oldest son, CJ, who will be 3 in April, is in that phase right now where you tell him something and it's, why? Why, daddy? And you give him the answer. And then he asks, why again? And you give him the answer. And he asks, why again? And it's like, dude, like, I don't even know the answers to these questions. Like, we're talking about like really big time, like physics explanations. And I'm decent at physics, maybe enough to be dangerous. But when it comes to explaining to an almost 3-year-old why it's cold outside, and you're at like the 6th time he's asked why, I'm running out of answers. So I've got a lot of exposure to this question of why recently. And that always brings me back to a book that I read a handful of years ago called Start With Why by Simon Sinek. I'm sure I've talked about it here before. And he basically flips how traditionally we have been taught to approach anything in life, like at a company level, at an individual goal or achievement level, or just why we want to do something in general. We usually always look at, okay, what is it that I want to do? What is it that I want to accomplish? What is the goal of the company? And then you go to, all right, how are we going to achieve that? What strategy will I have? How am I going to go about getting physically fit? Or how am I going to go about taking control of my personal finances? And then the smallest thing that we almost always gloss over is the reason why we want to do it to begin with. And when we spend the least amount of time and do it last in this order of 3 things, it has almost no impact on us. And so when we look at anything that we want to accomplish, we can know exactly what it is that we're trying to do. Crystal clear, no questions asked. We can have a great strategy, or we understand how we're going to accomplish it. But then when you go to implement that how to accomplish your what, you might fall off track, or you might start going in the wrong direction because maybe your how wasn't actually the right way to do something. And when you don't have a huge why tied or established beforehand, it's really easy to go off course, or it's just easy to stop altogether. And so in that book, he flips over that progression of circles to where we have to start with why. Why is it that we want to do something? Why is this important to me? And when you go and establish that, and the point of this exercise is to go 7 levels deep, which is how you really get to what the real reason is that you're trying to accomplish, your what. That is when everything can be set in motion. So when you start with why, it almost doesn't matter what the how or the what is. You're going to be able to figure out what those how and whats are when you know why it is that you're doing it. You might not have a great how, or you might not have the best strategy, but if you know your why, you know if you're going to be going off course. Whereas if you start with the what, and when you're implementing your how or your strategy, you might not recognize when you're going off course or when you're getting farther away from the goal or the mission that you have. So I love his book on establishing why. Starting with why is of the utmost importance. And so that brings us here to the 7 levels deep exercise. And so I'm going to share with you Dean Graziosi's example, and then I'm going to give you 2 of my examples for 2 different questions. And at the end of that, there's going to be a surprising outcome that is super exciting for me to share. So here we go. For Dean's 7 levels deep exercise, he says here at the top, he first discovered this exercise when consulting with a man named Joe Stump, who used this method with his high-level clients. By going through all 7 levels, you'll uncover your true why, which will be the driving force that allows you to accomplish anything in life. So he has a pretty broad question here at level 1. And here's how he sets it up. He says, what is important to you about becoming successful? So here you can have any type of question, but it's important to have what is important to you about blank. You can insert anything there, like he does, becoming successful, being physically fit, increasing knowledge, or being smarter, right? Whatever you want to explore deeper, you can put in there. But with his example, he says, what is important to you about becoming successful? And so his answer is make more money. Usually these first couple levels are going to be pretty quick to get. It's kind of your gut reaction to the answer. And normally some of those things might be good enough. But as an example here, if he just stops at, well, make more money, that's what's important to me about becoming successful. Okay, great. But when you get obstacles thrown in your way, when people don't like what you're doing or think you're crazy for doing what it is that you're pursuing, is simply having your why as make more money enough of a driving force to move you emotionally to continue on to reaching the goal that you have set? I don't think so. And again, that's why this 7 levels deep exercise is super important. So let's continue here. So level 2, now level 2 through 7 is you're basically asking every single question, it's the same question, but you insert your answer from above. So level 2 is, why is it important for you to make more money? His answer is get out of debt. Level 3, why is it important for you to get out of debt? He says, stop working so hard to pay someone else. Level 4, why is it important for you to stop working so hard to pay someone else? His answer, because I want to do things in my life with the fruits of my labor. Level 5, why is it important for you to do things in your life with the fruits of your labor? His answer, to take care of my mother who is widowed and needs help. See, now we're getting a little bit deeper, right? It's not a simple surface answer. we're digging deep now, and some of this might take a little bit more time for you. You might even have to consult your spouse or a parent or a close friend to help you continue on all the way down through level 7, because it does get challenging. All right, I've done it twice now, and it gets harder towards the end for sure. And so let's see, where were we here? Okay, so level 6. Now, specifically, why is it important for you to take care of your mother who is widowed and needs help? He says, because she sacrificed everything to send me to college, and I want to make sure she is taken care of in her golden years. Now, that is a great answer, and you might be tempted to stop at level 6 when you get something there, because that's clearly going to start moving you emotionally, and it's going to be a very deep internal motivator for you to continue working through your strategy to achieve this goal of becoming successful, right? But we have to go one more level. Level 7, why is it important for you to take care of her? He says, because I want to be in control of my life so I can help those around me who can't help themselves know that they are precious, worthy, and loved. Now he's gone 7 levels deep. And now he has his mission statement. Now he has basically the framework with that answer right there, that he can now align everything else that he does with his life. And if you listened a few weeks ago when I talked about the differences between the mission and the goal, that right there is his mission. Okay. So this is a great example. Again, this is on the website. I'm going to link that here because it also gives you a blank outline for you to fill it in yourself. So now I'm going to share my 2 that I did. And sorry, I have to move the mic here because it's on my whiteboard over here. If I can read my chicken scratch. And so again, as I said at the top of the episode, the ending here is pretty interesting. So I did the 2 things that I asked was the same question I'm going to bring to my presentation on student buy-in, which is going to be class focused, is what about this, fill in the blank for your least favorite class right now. So what about this seminar class is important to me? And level 2 there is to learn how to present and write proposals. Why is that important to me? Well, presenting well makes me feel good. Why does presenting well, or why does feeling good, why is that important to me? Because it means that my message gets communicated well. And why is that important to me? Well, others can hopefully learn from my presentation, from my message. Why is that important to me? So I can continue to add value to their lives. Now, I might stop there because that's a great mission statement, right? Adding value to others' lives. You can definitely frame a lot of your actions around that, right? But let's go one more time. Why is that important to me? Because I want others to be the best versions of themselves that they can be. So we got there looking at answering a question about a college class, right? We got that deep from a surface level question about a college class. Now, what about being a pro golfer is important to me? Well, because I want to accomplish a ridiculously hard task. Why is that important to me? So I can tell others that it's possible and explain how I did it. Now, why is that important to me? So they can learn from my experiences. Now, why is that important to me? So then they can take those experiences and accomplish their own dreams that they have. Now, why is that important to me? Because it's going to improve the quality of life of others. And now, why is that important to me? so that they can be the best versions of themselves. See how we got to the same level with two very different questions. One asking, why is this specific class that I don't particularly enjoy important? And one of the things that I've wanted to do for a long time is play professional golf. Now, I don't know, like I said, I've only done two, so I don't know if this applies to almost any question. But if you insert anything into this 7 levels deep exercise and you start seeing common themes at that 7th level, that might be what your purpose is. That might be what your mission is, what you can center your life around. And when you insert something in this exercise and you don't get that same output, right? Let's say you do 5 of these for 5 different things and you get all the same or seemingly close to the same answers at level 7. And then the next thing you do doesn't fit with the other 5. Maybe that's not something you're supposed to do. Maybe that pathway or that thing that you might feel that you want to accomplish or do or achieve doesn't actually align with what your true mission is. So I think this could be used as a great filter for certain activities that might lead us off of the path that we want to be on. So again, I love this exercise. I love that I saw 2 same outputs at level 7 for 2 different things, because that tells me a lot of stuff, right? So when we're thinking about this and the importance of starting with why, just remember this. This is a great quote from Simon Sinek's book. Regardless of what we do in our lives, our why, our driving purpose, cause, or belief never changes. All organizations start with why, but only the great ones keep their why clear year after year. Those who forget why they were founded show up to the race every day to outdo someone else instead of to outdo themselves. We'll catch you guys next week for ThoughtLoad. And as always, begin the duel, win the day.